So in this video, we are going to learn how to make a snowman. So first thing you want to do when you learn how to make a snowman, you want to delete the base cube. So you're going to hit X. Yes. So if you hold down the middle mouse wheel, this is how you move around, like rotate. If you hold down shift and middle mouse wheel, this is how you pan around or just like move side to side and up or down without rotating. And then we're going to want to hit Shift A to add. And you want to hit UV sphere. Then you want to right click it, hit Shade Smooth, S1, that did nothing, S2, enter. Okay, and this made it a little bit bigger. Then we want to hit Shift D, G for grab, Z to only move it along the Z axis, like up and down. Then you left click when you like it, S, 1.5, oops, not 1.5, S 0.5, enter. And that made it a bit too small, so now we're just going to hit S and drag it up. That is like the body of the snowman. And hit Shift D to duplicate it, G for grab, Z along the Z axis, place it, S, scale it back down. I'm going to make mine a little bit lower. And there, now we have pretty much a snowman. So I want my snowman to revise, so I'm going to hit Shift A, UV sphere, S, scale that down. Right click it, shade smooth, GZ, move it up, S, scale that down, nice and tiny. I'm going to hold down middle mouse wheel to move around, G, Y, so now I can bring it to the front of its face. Okay, yep, but now it's a Cyclops and it's one eye in the middle, so GX, move that to the side, GY, bring it into its head, so it's an actual eye, and yep, there's one eye, so now Shift D to duplicate, GX to slide along the x-axis, and there is its eyes. Now this one's a bit more inset than that one, this one, so we're just going to GY, bring it up, and there. That is how you make the basics of a snowman, but one more thing, it is a nose. That's all we are going to do. So we're going to add in a cone, S, scale that down, SZ, bring it long, make it a long boy, GZ, this. Now I'm going to hit RX90, so it's facing the front, GY to move it down a bit, sideways, GZ to move it down. And now if we look, there we have a snowman. So we're going to add some color to this snowman. So we're going to hit the top circle or the head, then hold down shift and left click the other two circles. So now we selected all of them. And we're going to go to this, which is like the properties. This is how you add color. We're going to hit new, and then under base color we want to bring it all the way white. And then that actually only added it for the head, so now we hit this, we hit the drop down, we're going to hit material 0.001, so now like it's the same color, then we do the same thing with the body, or the butt. Now we have its nose, which we want to make it orange because like it's a carrot, so we're just going to drag this color wheel until you get a nice orange. I'm thinking something around here. And then its eyes are going to be black, so you click them, hit new, this, and then this little ball which we made to make it whiter, you're just going to bring it all the way to the bottom. Then we set the other eye, this, material 0.003, black, that. Now, if we hit 0 on our number pad, we only see the butt and part of the body of the snowman. So there's two ways to change this. One is to hit N, view, camera to view, and now when we move around, like we move the camera around as well. Or we could just move into a position we like, Control Alt number pad 0, and then I'm actually going to move that up a little bit by holding Shift middle mouse button, and that is our snowman. The camera sees it, so now we hit F12, or if you want to go to render, render, render image, or F12. There we have a snowman, but the lighting's a little bit weird, and we can see the light is over here, so we don't want it over there, so just X, delete, Shift A, light spot, GZ to move it up, GY to move it, then rotate it, RX for rotate only along the X-axis, like that, and bring the strength up to 100 and this light properties here. Now if we hit F12, it is still very dull, so we want to bring this up to 10,000. Now F12, and there we are. That is a perfect snowman. It's white, has a carrot nose, it has some black eyes, and that's going to be it for how to make a snowman.